watching and maybe having to put a road closure up. If they do, of course, don't go around that. But there are some areas I think that you will see some localized flooding right along the San Diego River. And look at me, Michael, it's just piling up on me. So at times it gets a little bit heavy with the rain, and then it's consistent, and then it gets a little moderate at times. Kind of comes in waves.
Absolutely, and I know that you're going to be with us and continuing our coverage from San Diego all afternoon. Yeah. Craig, please stay dry for us as well. You have hours and hours and hours of rain on the way. Craig Carrera for us live in San Diego. Craig, thanks as always. We appreciate it. And of course, Southern California will see a year's worth of rain in just a few days, putting it at risk for catastrophic flooding. The National Weather Service in San Diego actually saying rare and dangerous flooding expected across the mountains and parts of the deserts. You're looking at Coronado, California right there. And again, it's going to be one of those deals where when you are out and about, you've got to make sure that you watch out, especially as you're crossing some of those roadways. And as we mentioned before, it's going to be those concrete washes that they have in SoCal, also known as the stormwater channels, where all of that water is going to congregate to. A few of those stormwater channels could actually spill over their banks, and that's really where the big concern is for potentially dangerous, if not life-threatening flooding. So please watch for it. There's how much rain we're expecting as Hilary continues to work up the West Coast from San Diego through LA and then into Bakersfield. And that's the rain that's still to come, by the way. So we're already tracking ongoing rain with more rain certainly on the way. So the next big question is, well, all right, that's how much rain is on the way. How much rain do we need in order to see flooding, right? That's a great question. Well, in an hour's time, look at parts of San Diego. That's going to be basically the southern tip right there on the borderline of Mexico where Tijuana is at. It's only about an inch or two within an hour's period, especially on the windward side of the mountain. That is certainly possible, and that would be what could easily lead to some of that catastrophic flooding and life-threatening flooding that the National Weather Service is talking about, especially in the valleys of where those mountains are, or in the shadow of a few of those mountains. It's one of the reasons why we have flash flooding that is going to be a real and present danger. In fact, for over 27 million Americans are under flood alerts as we speak, and they're all highlighted in that green coloring. However, when you look at parts of southern and eastern California, western parts of Arizona, the southern tip there of where Las Vegas is at, that's going to be the area that is going to be of greatest concern in Nevada of seeing where we could be talking about extreme, if not exceptional, flooding concerns. Let's get you out live, though, because you'll see that right there, basically smack dab in the middle of where the flooding concerns are the greatest, is Palm Springs. That's what you're looking at there live. Look at the wind. This is at some of the higher elevations. Look at just the cloud cover that's in play, the rain. Southern California preparing for what could be catastrophic flooding. The California Governor Gavin Newsom declaring a state of emergency as Hilary nears. Fox Weather's Nicole Valdez is live for us in Palm Springs to bring us the very latest. And what are you seeing outside right now, Nicole?
Well, Michael, it's been sort of on and off rain since about 6 a.m. here on the West Coast. I will say not nearly as heavy as what we could see later on this afternoon. So what we have noticed are some people trying to take advantage of some of the lull that they have today to maybe do some last minute things to prepare themselves for what's to come. Saturday was an eye-opening experience for us as we watched hundreds of people really pack the several sandbag filling stations that have been set up all across Palm Springs to try to get their hands on as many sandbags as they could. They're filling them up, loading them in their cars, getting them to their homes to try to protect their homes from what you mentioned, potentially catastrophic flash flooding. And the reason that that could be so, not only with the maybe 2 to 3 inches of rain that's expected all across the Coachella Valley, it's just all that rain falling onto so many of the mountains, then descending down into those valleys, that mountain runoff really creates the perfect storm for the flash flooding potential. And there are so many roads in and around Palm Springs that go through those major washes that can turn so dangerous so quickly. City leaders here in Palm Springs telling me it's exactly why they've really taken some drastic measures. They've already closed almost every main artery into Palm Springs, and those are roads, they tell me, that consistently flood when we do see even just a few inches of rain. So those are going to be areas that people will notice have barricades around them, and some even officers staged at either side of the closure to prevent people from driving through them, and again trying to keep people safe, not having a situation where those cars are swept away. Already more than 60,000 sandbags have been given out across the area, including right here in Palm Springs, where we met Mary Lee, who is clearly not taking this threat very lightly.
Panic because I've been through a flood that we had on February 14th, 4 years ago. And I live right next to a wash, and when they're giving us this much warning that you need to be prepared, we hustled for sandbags. We've never had to do this. I've lived in Palm Springs in this area since 1972 and have not seen this before.
And something else people like Mary Lee probably haven't seen are the alerts, whether you've got the Fox Weather app or just the emergency alerts on your phone. A tropical storm warning, that hurricane statement that was issued earlier today are, frankly, very new things for Californians to see. And for some, it's a little bit of uncertainty and fear, really regarding what that could mean. Of course, flooding is not necessarily something that's out of the ordinary, as Mary Lee just pointed out, but something to take seriously, as we're noticing people here again trying to take advantage of what little time they have left to get some last-minute supplies. Michael, I do want to point out some evacuations that already have been ordered in San Bernardino County. At least 5 communities there already looking to try to get people out before really the brunt of the storm.
Yeah, Nicole, with 2 to 3 inches of rain still on the way for parts of Palm Springs, California. I know that you are going to be with us every step of the way. Nicole Valdez for us live in Palm Springs. Nicole, thank you so much. Continuing coverage of Tropical Storm Hilary continues after this.
Small businesses are the heart of the United States economy.
And in many states make up a large portion, if not the majority portion, of all businesses in that state.
It's important for Congress to fight for us because we're the backbone of the community.
Back now on Fox Weather with all eyes on Tropical Storm Hilary. I'm Michael Estime.
And I'm Adam Klotz. What a story this has been, and it's continuing to be, obviously, tracking this the last couple of days. And today is kind of the really big day.
Yeah, that's exactly it. And I feel like today is the focus day for parts of California as Hilary begins to crisscross from Mexico into the United States. And as you said, this is going to be the day that we got to watch. It's not just a wind threat, but also a flooding threat.
Yeah, the flooding threat is the real concern. And I know there have been folks who've started to see maybe rounds of showers, even yesterday. But it's the heavier, more intense rain is really going to be picking up here this afternoon, this evening, and even through the overnight hours.
Yeah, and places that don't see the rain, you think about places like, San Diego, California, they average only about 1/100th of an inch of rain for the month of August.
August, it does not rain.
It doesn't rain.
It doesn't rain.
No, but we could see 1 to 2 inches of rain in sunny San Diego, right? It is known for being just a beautiful, beautiful spot to go to. But San Diego not only seeing the rain, but for the first time in history, tropical storm warnings are in effect for parts of Southern California. Big concern there is going to be that potential for, as we mentioned before, flash flooding. Some of that flash flooding, especially on the windward side of the mountains and the desert areas, could be what the National Weather Service is calling life-threatening. So, with that being said, we want to bring in from the National Weather Service out in San Diego, a good friend of mine as well, Adam Roser. Adam, great to see you. Didn't know that we were going to be communicating on these